I missed my whole thing. I was on mute. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope y'all are doing wonderful. Sorry, I was on mute there. But now, if you could drop that number one. See, this is why we do the number one. This is why we do the number one. Okay. This is the exact reason we do the number one thing over here. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Let me get over to my other screen where I can kind of watch live with y'all here. And let me mute this screen. That's the correct screen. Hello, everybody. Hello, Miss Emily. Hello, Miss Indy. Y'all welcome Emily to the stage, to the sofa. Welcome Indy to the stage, to the sofa. Thank y'all for being here. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. So, y'all, today, well, first of all, I hope everybody's doing well in the snow. A lot of people got snow or whatever. We got snow, but it's mostly melted now at this point. But I hope everybody's doing wonderfully and wonderfully well. So what I wanted to do tonight was a few things. First of all, go over a couple of things that like I basically have held off on, waiting to come over here and like do with y'all or whatever. And that is the Lori Vallow hearing, and then watching like a quick recap of the Slender Man girl who got out. It was like an 8-hour hearing, but we ain't going to do all that. Okay. We're just going to do the quick video. And then at the end, we're going to talk about Sherry Franke's book. Y'all, oh my gosh. So we'll watch like a little clip on it. And then tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we're going to have a members live chat where we'll talk about it more. Remember, if you're a member or a Patreon, that's where we do the book club. We're doing Sherry's book, but it's so good. I was like, I can't wait to talk about it. And so I wanted to look at the Good Morning America clip that she did promoting the book over here. And then we'll talk more in depth tomorrow, whatever. So that's it. Hey, Audra. Hey, John. How's it going? Hey, Chrissy. What's going on? Oh, I hope you feel better, Chrissy. My God. Hey, cowgirl. How's it going? So that's all. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. Now, let me find my soda, my caffeine-free zero soda. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then, hey, RJB. Pardon me. Hey, Trish. How's it going? It's so good to see y'all. Okay. We're going to start with the Lori Vallow thing first. I watched like literally like 15 seconds. Hey, Amy, I know I love it too, right? It's so good. It's so hard to find too in the store. I watched like the first 15 seconds getting this first one set up. And literally, Lori will want you will be wanting to like come to the screen, okay? And one man's trash, yes, this is the Golden Girls living room behind me. I figured I'd just slide on in there. Okay. I figured I'd get something a little bit more upbeat. Hey, Tori, how's it going? Welcome to the stuff. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're snuggled and warm where you're at. I'm assuming y'all got some snow over there. So we're going to be watching this. Now, remember, Lori Vallow, we've all followed it. You know what it is. But this is kind of like her first little hearing on her own or whatever. And y'all, it's the judge already knows. Okay. Judge already knows. Okay, let's see here. Let's try this one. Tell me if there's like an echo or something like that.
Because we're just getting word that the hearing for Lori Vallow has begun, Lori Daybell. And so we're going to go to that right now.
Do y'all hear?
Inmate Legal Services works. Did you receive the state's response yet?
I did receive it yesterday, but okay. I was hoping that I could put my response on the record today, my reply.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Get my glasses. Do you want me to stand, Your Honor, or can I just sit here?
You can sit there.
So the state has claimed in their response that these documents are not material in the case, and this defense is entitled to this specific evidence for the.
Again, I'm sorry. We just have to pause it right there. The condescendingness dripping off of her and the perkiness that she's shuffling her stuff around, all this is sending me, okay? It is like absolutely, wait, let me make myself bigger. Is absolutely sending me. And this is like day one of the job, okay? Right? So I'm just like, oh my God. And listen to the judge. He's like, you can set, you can do this. Like, he already knows, right? He's like, literal can't roll my eyes hard enough moment for him. Okay, let's keep going.
proposition that this evidence can be used to impeach the thoroughness and good faith of the police investigation and the intent of the prosecution. That's Kyles versus Whitley, 514 U.S. The acid test of this prosecution is not a matter of determining if the defendant is guilty of the crimes that the defendant is charged, but rather, was any crime even committed? And where is this evidence? This defense has yet to find any evidence of a conspiracy in the 100,939 pages that have been turned over by the state. The state does not get to say, like they did in their last motion to us in their last answer, to say, oh, we gave you over 100,000 pages, so that ought to keep you busy. That's not how it works. These are serious charges, and these are serious consequences for these charges.
Listen to her talking. That's not how it works. Okay, lawyer Lori. She's over here talking about, I know how this works, okay? I've got a life sentence. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, this gonna be a long ride. Imagine when, I think somebody set it up here. I can't remember who you are, but claim your crown. Imagine when she gets the witness. Oh, indie girl. Imagine when she gets the witnesses on the stand. Imagine when she has the witnesses on the stand. This is, to me, this is a sneak preview for what we're in for, and the victims, right? So these are serious charges. Yeah, they are, right? Seriously. So were the last ones you were just convicted of. Okay, here we go.
In determining the actuality of a crime, the state is required to meet, in reality, not in theory, a standard of culpability that is defined by law as a crime. The state is required to meet the challenge of defense reasonably without bias, conflict, prejudice, or speculation. So the defense, we keep filing motions for discovery since we don't know if it's some kind of strategy of the state that they're holding back this actual evidence of conspiracy in hopes that the defendant won't have time to prepare a proper defense against the evidence that comes forward at the last minute. This court has denied every motion the defense has filed to acquire this evidence. The state has claimed in their response to the defense's motion that the defense's request is overbroad and wide sweeping. Is this the defense left to pinpoint where this evidence is and try to find it? No, that is not the law. The state is required by law to give the defense evidence of the crime they are being charged with. This is the purpose of the Brady Law and the right to due process. This is why in 2020, the United States enacted the Due Process Protection Act that provides defendants like me with greater protection, Brady versus Maryland. The state has continued to impede the defense from conducting a defense. This is a violation of the 14th Amendment of our great Constitution and the defense's due process rights. Today,
did she meet Sarah in the damn portal and just like transfer energy or something? Like, how are we right back here? Right? We are starting off 2020. We're done with Sarah and we've just fired this up. Thank God she didn't do this with the children. Not that I'm trying to lessen the situation, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, and I met with the children's case, right, in court or whatever. This is great, y'all. The way she did with the papers, like she did something. She slapped those papers down like she did something. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. I see, and also too, because I don't know enough about law to know if like what she's saying makes sense. Over here, whether she does or not, I am praying that she's not, so the judge will set her straight. Because to me, this judge doesn't put up with anything. Like he is very like he was over her when he felt her presence got, you know, in the state or whatever. Thank you, Emily, for being a member for 11 months, but much longer than that, a friend for life. And Portal Potty Lori, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going.
The defense is requesting that this court do the following three things. One, order the state to turn over all evidence of a conspiracy since our trial begins in 76 days from today. I would also ask that they would pare down their witness list to these witnesses that will actually be testifying so the defense can conduct productive interviews. And then I would like for all motions and responses to be sent directly to the defendant in a timely manner. I'm having a really hard time getting this stuff. I don't get it from ILS to 7 days after things have been filed, after your orders have been rendered. I'm not getting these. This defense intends on starting trial on time without delay, and I request that also that this defense requests that the court grant the motion to order the state to produce all discovery of extradition at this time so that we can get started on getting prepared for trial.
What does anything in the extradition have to do with the underlying charges? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, it's to find out why all this started when I can't find any evidence that there is. So
have you read the grand jury transcripts?
I have.
Okay, the grand jury transcripts summarize what the state's evidence they intend to produce at trial.
I understand that.
So when you say you can't find anything, that is the summary in the grand jury transcripts.
Correct.
Okay. So I guess I don't understand how an extradition a year or so after the fact, after the indictments, would have anything to do with the underlying charges. So can you articulate that for me?
I can, Your Honor. There's the detectives that are on these cases are all continuing to go back and forth with all of these different agencies. You have the FBI, you have all the different agencies that are working together. You have Rexburg, Fremont County, you have Chandler and Gilbert. You have all these people. Then I have them coming up, and they're going to be on the stand, and they're going to be in trial, and they're going to be saying what they reviewed. They've reviewed all these things, and there's communications between all of these agencies that I feel like that the defense is privy to. We should be able to have that and look at that and see where all this came from, where all this started, why they waited 2 years to make these charges. There's all these things, and why they decided to extradite when I saw someone sent me a news article 3 days before I got brought to Arizona that MCAO was putting out a release that they were not going to pick me up and they were not going to extradite me to Arizona until after my appeals were finished. So it's contradictory to that. I just don't know where it came from. And there's a lot of things that are mystery questions to the defense that we are entitled to according to the law.
All right. Well, everything you've just told me, none of that would be relevant in the trial in the case in chief. Does the state intend on producing any iota of evidence or presenting any scintilla of evidence of anything that happened after the dates of crime that have been charged in the indictments?
Where the state, although there is information that occurred after that will relate to the conspiracy that has been disclosed to the defense, anything that occurred after the indictment, during the extradition process is completely irrelevant and will not be brought in during the trial.
I didn't mean the date of crime listed in the indictment. I meant the date of the indictment. Correct. So the state doesn't plan on presenting any evidence to a jury of anything after the indictment.
Correct.
So how would that, anything to do with the extradition, be relevant to your trial then?
I feel like it's relevant to the whole, Your Honor, in the sense that the police investigation and the intent of the prosecution, it doesn't make sense. I would like to be able to have that.
All right. Are you otherwise on track for your trial date?
Correct.
Are there interviews going on with your investigator or your advisory council team?
We're working on getting those set up right now.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to address today? This was sort of just a status conference to make sure things are on track.
I have 2 motions that I'd like to file with the court today.
All right. Do you have copies for the state?
I don't today. I thought you could make a copy.
Can we see them?
Sure.
I'll ask the deputy county attorney.
Sarah would have stayed up all night handwriting copies for everyone in the courtroom. So there, she needs to go back in the portal and get some secretarial filing Post-it notes, facsimile training from Sarah the Bones. I thought you could make copies. Really? You don't have anything you could, there's nothing else you had to, what? No. Literally no. Okay, here we go.
From your perspective, anything we need to discuss here today? Yeah.
As Lori Daybell gets those motions, all that paperwork together for the judge to see, we are going to squeeze in a quick break, but we are going to have more from the Lori Daybell.
You exactly what happened. Closing
Take for the state's portion to present.
Probably a couple weeks, Your Honor. I mean, and I say that obviously I'm unaware of how long defense will take for cross-examination. So I would probably ask to pre-screen the jury for significantly longer than that.
Meaning 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
Yes, Your Honor. I obviously, I do not know what Ms. Daybell is going to question any of the witnesses.
As we're looking toward that trial date, is advisory council willing to assist the defendant on the jury screening process if we do the electronic questionnaire?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that we
All right, good.
going outside of our scope, but yes.
Sure. I have received a motion for specific discovery from the defendant, well, 2 separate ones. Just going forward, can you title them maybe what specifically you're looking for? Because if you name all your motions the same thing, it gets a little difficult to keep track of them. But I have 2 separate motions for specific discovery.
Just like discovery.
For example, on this one, you could title it something like motion for discovery related to the Gilbert DR number or something like that, just to differentiate these. We'll make copies of these for the prosecutor, and then we'll have those filed with the clerk today. One of your requests was to have the state send you directly any pleadings, which according to their mailing certificate at the back of the pleadings, they are mailing them to you. I can't do anything about how long the jail takes to process that. So I do recognize that there's probably some delays on that, so we won't hold you to the normal reply times because of those delays that it takes getting through the jail administratively. All right.
In that case, Your Honor, could we have perhaps that go to my investigator, then I could maybe get those faster? Could he also be included on that?
Your Honor, I do email them to advisory council as well as in the court, so
All right.
but there's not much else I can do.
Who's your investigator?
Jeff White.
And your advisory counselor in contact with him? Yeah.
They can be.
Okay. So the record will reflect that the state's getting a copy of those 2 motions today, and then the state will respond accordingly. I'll just set a I'll have you reply within 10 days of the date of the filing of their response. All right. Depending on and then I'll rule on the motions as they come, or I'll set a hearing if need be. But at this time, I'm going to affirm the final trial management conference of March 18 at 8:30 a.m. in this division. Trial date's currently March 31. Again, the first case that would be heading to trial would be the 2021 case. Anything else for today?
Yes. Will trial be staying before Your Honor? And if so, will we be staying in this courtroom?
I don't know yet. I'm going to confer with the associate presiding judge, and I suspect it will stay here and it will stay in this courtroom, although for jury selection, we may move to a bigger courtroom if we're doing in-person voir dire.
And Judge, I do know there will likely be the next of kin present. This courtroom obviously does not have a victim room or a witness room. With the media, that obviously makes it more difficult for the state to keep those individuals away from each other, from overhearing each other in this type of case. So obviously, we're happy to stay before this court, but would be requesting that this be reset or moved to the South Court Tower so we would have those accommodations.
I'll talk to the criminal presiding judge and the associate presiding judge regarding that. And it's just a matter of availability of bigger courtrooms. Anything else from the defendant?
I just was going to ask, can we set both trial dates, or how are we going to do that?
You'll have two separate jury trials with two separate juries.
Correct.
So the first trial that will be on or around March 31st. We anticipate when that trial's done, we'll talk about how quickly we're going to do the second trial. Does that answer your question?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. It's hard to set the second one without knowing how long the first one's going to take and then the readiness of everyone as far as the second one after the first one concludes. All right, we will be at recess on that matter. I'll take any motions under advisement.
Now, did y'all see? I'm going to make myself small on her big. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. She's got that going on. She's going to get bigger. Wait, how do we do it? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see the hair? She's got it going on. She's got that going on. All right. She's very primped up in there. I know, right, Heather? Heather says she keeps saying correct when she asks a question. Judge knows he's correct, Lori. No. Jay Denise says a mess. Yes. I mean, a hot mess. I just we're coming in hot in 2025, y'all. I'm telling you, it's this year. Woo, I don't know if I can handle it. The attitude. Again, I have so many thoughts going through my head right now. If we could get the videotape of her interviewing people behind the scenes, like chat, she's going to find a way to get Chad in there. That's probably the whole reason of this. That's why she's like, yeah, we're ready for trial tomorrow. As soon as she talks to Chad, she'll be like, okay, I'll plea out. She ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just her attitude. Oh, excuse me. Her attitude is just next level. It is not what I expected at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I guess I would have expected a little bit more, right? So we'll see. So, can the public attend the trial? Do we know? Oh, thank you, Tammy, for gifting 10 memberships. We appreciate it. Yeah, Cody has a channel. So Cody, her son, if you're not familiar with the case, he has his own channel and he does a lot of, obviously it's his mother, right? So if you're wanting to follow this case, whatever, 100% follow that. You're going to hear some major phone conversations, stuff like that. And an insider perspective of the tragedy, and the resilience of the human spirit to move past things like, having Lori Vallow as your mother and doing this. But yeah, oh, Tori, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. But yeah, I would be interested to see, hey, Amanda, if the public can attend, because I might want to try and go, but we'll see. Hello, Arizona Kelly. We were just talking about Arizona. Oh, thank you, Diva Time Dance Company. I appreciate those gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For people who are just becoming new members or whatever, or have been members, don't forget tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, we're going to do a members chat where we're just going to focus on Sherry's book. There's going to be a line to get in. That's the only thing. I don't know what that's like to go. I'm going to a Navante Devon hearing next week. And then after that, I'm going to be going to the Megan Boswell trial in Tennessee in February. So I'll kind of get a going in person type vibe or whatever. The public can absolutely attend. Yeah. So I might be going out there. We'll see. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video, the thing on, what would you call it? The Slender Man murder, I guess you would say. Now, what we're going to do is it's a 10-minute clip. Thank you, Izzy Day. It's a 10-minute clip. Yeah, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's a members chat. So Sandy says Megan Boswell's trial is like 30 minutes from me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I was just through that area too. But tried driving through kind of near it. Okay, so we're gonna do the Slender Man thing right now. So what happened is there was a hearing. They let her out, whatever. But the thing we're going to watch is like a recap because some people might not be familiar with this. So you need the context of it to understand. But this is a case that many of you might recognize as like these two middle schoolers took their friend out into the woods and stabbed her almost to death. And luckily she was able to escape. They said they were doing it for Slender Man. And yeah, so they've been in a psychiatric hospital. One of them got out, I believe. And then the other one, just recently was released, and I want to hear the thing because I didn't think they'd ever let one of them out, this one particularly. And so when they did, I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. So I want to see how she comes up. Oh, thank you, Arizona Kelly, for gifting the 5 memberships. And thank you, Kathy, for the sticker. And SD, thank you for being a member for 4 months. I am sure Lori has a fan club. You already know. Y'all, today I was in traffic and this went like, you know, if you sit there, stop like somebody makes a left or whatever, so you can kind of see them. 100%. I was like, that is Jodi Arias driving a car. Look, I mean, y'all, from the side angle, I was like, that is Jodi Arias. Sent shivers down my spine. Lord mercy. Blanche, I'd say it. Blanche. Okay, let me find the screen right here and I'm going to put it up here. Oh, yeah, this one, y'all. This one's rough. Okay, yeah, this one's rough. Okay. I ain't lying, y'all. This one's rough. Okay. I'm talking about rough. Please hold. Okay, where are we at? Slender Man. Slender Man. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. Okay, where's that at? Okay. So here we go. So it's just like a recap thing, whatever it's, what is it, 10 minutes. So here we go. I'll stop a little bit and make comments, whatever, but here we go.
22-year-old Morgan Geyser appearing in a Wisconsin courtroom this week. A far cry from the 12-year-old who admitted to a heinous act, stabbing someone they called a friend when they were both just 12 years old.
As you look at Ms. Geyser sitting here in court, as an individual, whether she still presents that same risk today. She doesn't.
Morgan's attorney pleading for his client's release after being held at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute for the brutal attack that's gripped the nation for more than a decade.
When you have two 12-year-old girls luring another friend out into the woods to stab her on behalf of a mythical figure named Slender Man, it's going to be everywhere. And it was.
Now to that shocking story out of Wisconsin.
The brutal stabbing of a 12-year-old girl.
The girl told police she was with 2 other girls she knew.
The victim's friend left her to die.
In 2014, Morgan's friend, Peyton Leitner, stabbed 19 times.
Do you feel like you're a survivor?
Yeah, I shouldn't be alive. I really shouldn't after what happened.
Another friend there too, Anissa Wire, who, like Morgan, would also be confined to that same mental health institute. Anissa was granted supervised release after nearly 4 years.
Who's Slender Man?
He's this tall, faceless man who preys on children.
I was hired by the defense to...
I guess I just want to stop real quick. So that's the gist of it. Bless that girl's heart. Can you imagine learning to trust again after having that done to you at that age? Gives me goosebumps. How she survived, I have no idea, right? I have no idea how she survived that. I mean, literally, like this is like the universe or whatever was not, it wasn't ready for you to go. You got more work to do, right? I cannot imagine this, like literally chills me to my bones, the insanity of this. Okay, so here we go. I just want to say that.
to evaluate Morgan. I don't think she was deviously planning. I think she was feeling controlled by Slender Man. What she would tell me is that she really had no choice but to listen to Slender Man.
The brutal, premeditated attack, they say, was done to please the fictional online character Slender Man, who the kids hoped to meet at an imaginary mansion in the woods.
He could be anywhere from 6 feet to 14 feet tall. He's a tall guy who constantly wears a suit. He doesn't have a face.
Did you feel bad? That is stab one of your best friends.
I thought about it, but then I decided that remorse will get me nowhere. He is here to live without regrets.
Is the now grown adult behind those words truly reformed? Or still a risk to society?
In a case like this, when someone's found not guilty by reason of mental defect, the question isn't whether Morgan will be released. The question becomes when.
It was May 2014 when the saga began in Waukesha, a suburb of Milwaukee. The three tweens had found friendship with one another.
Go back 5 years ago to 12-year-old Peyton. How would you describe her?
Hopeful, positive, an animal lover. I saw the good in people.
Looking back, Anissa was never really invited to a lot of birthday parties or anything. I don't think she really made friends that easy.
Morgan did endure a lot of bullying, especially in the 6th grade by the other students. In the last year, she started to become moodier and a little bit more reclusive.
She never talked about any of the sadness or any of the bad things. They knew what each other had gone through, and they were going to be there for each other.
3 12-year-old girls had a sleepover. Happens all over the country all the time, but this one ended a little different.
911 movement and transfer over a caller on Big Bend. Came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Do you remember what you said to them?
I trusted you. And then they told me to lay down. You'll lose blood slower. Like, we're going to go get help.
My colleague, 2020 co-anchor David Muir, spoke to Peyton in 2019 in her only interview. He first met her and her parents just months after the attack.
We just knew that Peyton told us Morgan stabbed her, and the police hadn't been able to find the girls.
And in fact, police believe those girls were walking.
Yeah.
They were going to find a mansion in the woods.
Oh, the mansion. Yeah, the mansion in the woods. They were going to the Nicolay Forest because they believed that there was a mansion there that Slender Man lived in.
Police say they were hoping to impress Slender Man with their actions.
Slender Man was originally created as sort of fan fiction and an extension of the campfire horror story. These images that were unclear whether they were nurturing or threatening.
After being brutally stabbed, Peyton managed to crawl out of those woods. Nearly 5 hours later, the 2 other preteens were found and taken into custody.
She was my only friend for a long time.
Why would you hurt your only friend?
It was necessary. It was weird. I felt no remorse. I thought I would.
It was weird that you didn't feel remorse.
I actually felt nothing.
Was it hard for you to wrap your head around what had been done to you?
No, which I guess says a lot about our friendship. I kind of wasn't really too shocked about it. After I heard why she did it, I was like, well, this doesn't surprise me at all, because she believed so hard in this thing that she would do anything for it.
When I first entered Morgan's bedroom, it just looked like a normal room for a girl of her age. But in her drawers and in the closet, there were numerous items that were disturbing in nature.
They found all kinds of strange things going on. There strange drawings, dolls that had been mutilated.
Some of the dolls had their hands cut off, arms cut off, legs cut off.
Experts testified that Morgan had been diagnosed with early onset schizophrenia. Anissa separately was diagnosed with shared psychotic disorder.
Just want to let Bella and her family know I'm sorry. I never meant
think Morgan's mental health state at the time of the stabbing was obviously, she was in a bad state. We could see that obviously from all the doctor reports that were done back then.
Both Morgan and Anissa ultimately found not guilty by reason of a mental disease or defect. Authorities said Morgan was the ringleader and the one that had done the stabbing. She was committed to 40 years in a mental health institute. Anissa committed to 25 years.
It is very rare to be found not guilty by reason of mental defect. But when someone does, it means that that person was so psychologically incapable that they can't even be held responsible for a crime.
I know that nothing I say is going to make this right, Your Honor, and nothing I say is going to fix what I broke. I'm never going to let this happen again, and I'm sorry.
Anissa would be released in 2021, while Morgan continued at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute.
Morgan received a lot of treatment at Winnebago, specifically individual therapy, group therapy, and medication, really a combination of the three.
Anthony Cotton has represented Morgan since the start of the case. Morgan now identifies as a transgender man.
Morgan's certainly up there in terms of having a positive outlook and a positive attitude for the future.
In this week's hearing, Cotton called 3 doctors to testify on Morgan's well-being.
She has improved coping skills for managing stress.
But specifically, I don't believe that she currently poses a significant risk.
Essentially, that she has had multiple opportunities to be in the community and has done very well.
All agreeing that the 22-year-old is fit to be released. Peyton's family disagreeing, releasing this statement ahead of court, saying Morgan Geyser has withdrawn her request to be released twice. More recently, her request was denied. We are confident that the judicial system will make a decision that will ensure the community and my daughter remain safe. Prosecutors arguing Morgan's credibility remains an issue.
That you should find there's clear and convincing evidence of substantial risk.
The judge ruling in favor of Morgan's early release, saying while their crime was terrible, Morgan has now grown up.
Ms. Geyser does not pose a significant risk of bodily harm to herself or others, or of serious property damage. Now, when I make that finding, I take into account the dangerousness of what happened back in 2014.
Morgan's in good spirits. Morgan is looking forward to the next stage. Morgan has talked about wanting to be a librarian, wanting to continue publishing her writings, wanting to be in the art field.
Despite what happened all those years ago, Cotton believes Geyser has shown remorse.
Morgan would be the first person to say it. It's unbelievable. You don't even want to discuss it, how bad it was. But Morgan committed one act, not a pattern of acts.
In the meantime, the judge ordered the state to come up with a plan for Morgan's supervised release within 60 days.
This is not a case where Morgan will just be able to walk free and go on with life. The conditional release is conditional. It's not unconditional. And so it means that Morgan is going to have to abide by and adhere to certain requirements.
If I had a nickel for every ostensibly odd missing persons case in the state of Pennsylvania,
We do love the Lore Lodge over here. That's who that was coming up. If y'all don't watch the Lore Lodge, immediately go subscribe. He's so interesting to watch. I love listening to his stories. Here's the thing. So between the two, the co-defendant who got out, or I think Amber was a co-defendant who got out like way earlier or whatever, like, and heard just a little bit. Now, we haven't actually heard Morgan talk. Now, I didn't watch the hearing, so that was just like the quick little, you know what I'm saying? Now it makes me actually want to go watch, but it was like a 7-hour thing, right? I just wanted to get the like gist of it or whatever. I want to see what Morgan has to say. Because just like in the previous things or whatever, and there was a reason, like they already went through this and they said, they wouldn't let Morgan out before. Pardon me. So now I'm like, well, what's changed? Right. So my fear is this, and I think somebody else said it here, whatever. Pardon me. Hopefully they will be in a structured place where medication can be monitored. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of a thing, because again, I'm just like, I can't with that. It was so brutal and so cold, and God bless the victim. Again, like, can you imagine going to a spend the night and your two friends and they're like talking about whatever? And like, oh, let's go to the woods, let's do this whole thing. And then you're like stabbed to death. It's like, oh my God. God bless. Oh my gosh. So scary. And I mean, I gotta get a drink. And that movie was good. So if you're not familiar, Slender Man, it was a movie. It's like a what do you call it? Like an internet I can't say this word, mythological, is that right? Character, if you will. So that's the part where I'm just like, and I'm trying to rewind back to like 12 years old and thinking, because you heard them all saying like, how much they believed in the Slender Man thing or whatever. Amy says creepy pasta story. Yes, thank you. Yes, 100%. So to believe in something to that degree that you're willing to like, kill your friend, right? You know what it reminds me of? Okay, yeah, urban legend. Thank you, Arizona. Okay. I don't know the name of this case, but I'm going to start describing it. Y'all will probably immediately name it. And this is in Canada, but like this was on a bus, and like this dude was on the bus and had schizophrenia or something like that, whatever. And then the person that he was sitting next to or something, I don't know what took place, but like basically the dude pulls out this huge knife and just literally starts killing this person next to him. And when I say killing, I'm talking about, I mean, like butchered this person, okay? Ripped their eyes out. I mean, crazy monstrous stuff, right? Things that you're just like, Jeffrey Dahmer would have been grabbed it, clutched his pearls, right? He would have been like, King says it was a machete. Okay, yeah. I can't remember the exact details. So, but chop this person up, whatever. Yeah, remove his head, all that. Well, and I don't know the updates. I mean, this is going back, whatever. The dude who did the killing went to whatever, right? Some kind of hospital. Eventually got out. Okay. And from my understanding, has done well ever since. But it's like, obviously having to be monitored and medication and things like this or whatever. That's what I feel like this situation would require. So, okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab another soda. Then we're going to talk about for a minute Sherry Franke's book, The House of My Mother. This is the Ruby Franke and Jody Hildenbrand case. Y'all. Well, actually, we're going to watch the little clip. Hold on. Let me find it. Please hold. Talk amongst yourselves, please. Oh, thank you. Okay, where we go? So Ruby, or no, we want Sherry Franke. I'm talking Major T's Village, y'all. This book. I mean, it's good. Okay, it's good. Okay, hold on. Let me get this going. Not going, but you know what I'm saying. This is like a 5-minute clip. Please hold. Yeah, the book is good. If you remember on this channel, the other channel, or Patreon, you're basically by default a member of the book club that we do. That's what we're doing tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about it more in depth. I usually do one meeting a month and then put up member videos about them and shorts and stuff like that. But this one, I'm like, oh, we can't wait, y'all. So we're going to talk about a little bit over here too. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to present. I'm trying to share the screen. I'm trying to do this. I've got so much going here. Ruby Franke's daughter, share the screen. Do y'all see the same stuff as me? Yes, you do. Ruby Franke. Let's extend it. Boom. Okay. Okay, hold on 1 second while I go grab another. Thank you for holding your call. It's important to us. Thank you. Emily says that Padre couple weeks releases to general members. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yes. Dominique says, hold on. This is another case that reminded me of the Slender Man killer. Okay, killings. Okay, so Dominique, well, let me put on the screen real quick. Before you go to this, let's go to this. Because I was thinking about that one. I couldn't remember it. Okay, so Dominique says, and the little girl, Mary, in the UK who killed a little boy in the 60s was let out when she turned 18 and never reoffended. Went on to have children of the family. She had to change her name. I remember that. That was that's like a classic. And I don't mean to like break it down to like, oh, that's like a classic true crime story, because there's obviously, it's a horrible crime. But in the true crime world, you know, that's a story that has been told by so many people over time. And yeah, pardon me, apparently never reoffended, changed. And you would have thought like that's something that heinous, because it was literally almost like, I wanted to see what it would be like to murder the little baby or the little boy or whatever. You would have thought that was it, right? So yeah. Mary Bell, yep, cupcakes and cameos. I like that name. That's cute. Yeah, Mary Bell is crazy. Okay, so what we're getting ready to watch now is a clip. They're interviewing Sherry Franke. Sherry Franke is the daughter of Ruby Franke. Ruby Franke is currently in prison in Utah. Ruby Franke was like the head of the household, of the head of the channel 8 Passengers. This is like a viral, you know, where they were LDS, right? Utah family vlog, whatever. And it went very wrong. Lots of abuse came out. You can see the videos out there of the way that she, you know, treated her kids and whatnot. So Sherry wrote a book about it, and it's all the things you would expect that you were thinking. It's in there so far. So let's listen to this and we'll talk about it. Please hold. Here we go.
Now we're going to go to our GMA exclusive with the eldest daughter of mom influencer Ruby Franke, who pleaded guilty to child abuse last year. Sherry Franke is now sharing her story in a new book, including allegations about her mom's relationship with her former mentor. She spoke with Eva Pilgrim, and good morning again to you, Eva.
Good morning again, Michael. Sherry Franke knows so much of her life has been out there in the headlines, but now she's taking back her story, writing a memoir, carefully sharing her experience.
She was the Utah mommy influencer known for her no-nonsense parenting.
I'm only going to say it one more time, and then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
Ruby Franke sharing her life at home with...
I'm sorry to pause right away, but I just have to say this. I'm sorry, but does she not have the dead eyes? Like literally like just pure evil behind these eyes. Like there's something completely unsettling about her. Here we go.
6 children to her more than 2 million followers on YouTube.
Today we are starting off our day the way we do every day.
But Ruby's social media empire quickly unraveled when her youngest son escaped in August of 2023. This chilling 911 call leading to her arrest.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs.
Now, for the first time, Ruby's eldest daughter, Sherry, is telling her story in a new memoir, The House of My Mother.
Sometimes I'll like see myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I look like her or I sound like her, but I don't want to be anything like her.
Sherry, who says she was cut off from the family when she left for college, detailing abuse she says her mother inflicted throughout her childhood.
When I was younger, around like 5, 6, like Ruby was really physical, like, you know, whether it was like a slap to the lip or a slap to the cheek. When I would practice the piano, you know, like her hand would slam and like it was really scary. And honestly, when she met Jody, that kind of stopped.
Enter Jody Hildebrandt, a Mormon family counselor and mentor to Ruby.
Could you feel the shift when Jody came into your family's life?
I could for sure. I could feel the shift. I was like, oh, Jody, like, you know, I don't like her, but maybe this is one good thing that's come from it is she's not yelling, she's not hitting us anymore. But it did become more psychological and in a way that was more damaging to me.
In 2022, Hildebrandt moved into the Franke home. The children's father, Kevin, moved out shortly after.
I certainly got weird vibes from Jody and Ruby. I don't think it's normal at all that a therapist would move into her client's home. I was moving out to college and I hadn't even like left the house yet, and she is in my room and in my bed.
What was that relationship between the two of them?
Ruby tried to be secretive about it, and so like I don't know all the details, but just the vibes that I was getting was that something was strange between them.
In the book, Sherry writing about messages between the two she says she found on Ruby's laptop after their arrest that confirmed for me the truth about the nature of her relationship with Jody and how it had spilled over into the physical. Ruby expressing her frustration about having to cater to Jody's needs for physical affection without getting anything in return.
Okay, I had to pause there. Here's the thing. Does that surprise? Okay, so here's the thing. Like, we were already guesstimating that there was something going on there with that, right? So we get some confirmation. But then this part right here, having to cater to Jody's needs for physical affection without getting anything in return, I'm like, of course that's how she would be, right? It's like this vessel of a person, what do you call it? A psychic vampire. You know, that just sucks the life and energy out of anything and anyone around them. The Pillow Prince. I mean, for real. Oh my God. But I mean, literally, it's like, I'm just like, of course she would be that way, right? Of course she would be that way. You know what I'm saying? I cannot with this. Okay. This adds so much context now where I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, let's keep going. Then we'll talk more about it.
Were they romantically involved with each other?
I never saw anything specific about that.
Do you think they were more than friends?
I'm not sure.
ABC News reached out to Ruby and Hildebrandt for comment, but did not hear back. Both women pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child abuse against the 2 youngest children, but not Sherry, and will serve at least 4 years in prison.
To my babies, my 6 little chicks, you are part of me.
Did you believe that she was apologetic?
I think that she's as sorry as she can be. What she has done is so bad that I don't think her mind allows her to kind of fully comprehend the guilt of all that. And so I think that she probably genuinely believed everything she said. I don't believe it, though.
Sherry now trying to turn her pain into purpose.
There is no such thing as a moral or ethical family vlogger.
Advocating to restrict family vlogging with children too young to consent.
Is there anything that you would say to Ruby if you had the chance?
Probably tell her I'm happy without you. Like, I was scared of her for so long, and I am pure without her approval, and I am just fine.
Have you forgiven Ruby?
Forgiveness is something I've had to like study a lot and kind of think about what it means. But for me, forgiveness would look like not letting that consume every moment of my life and all of my thoughts. I am just trying to move on with my life and trust that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to.
And we know Sherry reached out to authorities about alleged abuse of her younger siblings multiple times without help. We reached out to the Utah Department of Child and Family Services, and they cited their policy of privacy. Sherry is now focused on rebuilding her relationship with her siblings and her father, who told ABC News he is proud of his daughter. The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom, is available now. And she has some good news in her life. She was just engaged. She posted it on Instagram. And she talked about the fact that this is now, everything else is going to be private. She wants to be a mother. She wants her life to be private. She was
I mean, good for her, right? Like, good for her. So I'm only like, maybe 15 chapters in or something like that. Yeah, a lot of us are side-eyeing Kevin for sure, right? Like, I'm very curious to get more into that. Just the bit that I've read so far, you can see the train wreck of the situation happening. Like, literally where it's, the YouTube fame blowing up and that just being like, that, what's her name? I wanted to say Lori. Ruby, absolutely full of herself. It so much more makes sense now of her and Jody were just drunk on each other and their power, well, literally, and their power and the infamy and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and the way she talks, there's one thing that she mentioned in there, she's talking about she wanted to start her own channel like this when she was pretty young. She's like, well, Mom, all you have to do is shout me out. And Ruby's like, I'm not shouting you out. Like, I'm not going to do that. You have to have 100,000, subscribers first. You have to do a channel worth shouting out. Like, I'm not going to do that. And you're just like, what kind of values is that to teach your kid, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not worthy unless you have 100,000 subscribers. Really? The whole thing. One of the things that I saw, there's one thing, I can't remember the example of it, but whatever it was, when Sherry, basically was like, Dad, I'm thinking I don't want to remain on Earth anymore, if do the math on that. And he's like, oh my God, okay, let me come home. Like, let's talk about this. Do you need to see someone? Do you need to talk to a counselor or whatever? And so after she does this, then she's like, oh my gosh, Mom's going to know. Well, of course it goes the way that you think it would. And what's her name? I keep wanting to say Lori. Ruby, they're literally almost interchangeable, right? Ruby is, of course, like, that's not going to happen, whatever. And Kevin stands up to her, and Sherry's like, you could see the look on my mom's face where she was just like in shock that Kevin would do this, right? And that's kind of where I left off at. It's like that kind of stuff right there. The way, like, there's in the very beginning, she talks about she was meeting her mom. She was like, the only reason Mom went to college was to meet a man and have kids and all that. Fine, dandy, if that's what you want to do, but not when it ends like this, right? So she was like, there was a party and Mom was basically like, had a blanket over, and on one side she was holding a dude's hand, on the other she was holding Kevin's. And like, Kevin realized this. Well, of course, they were already, they immediately like are running off, getting married 14 days in or whatever. It's like, so you kind of see where this is going. It's like, if this is how this was way back then, she's been doing this for a long time. So now, thank you, Lauren, for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate it. So now that all this is going on, it's just, it's fascinating to hear her perspective. She's so well spoken. She's so intelligent. I hope she makes a ton of money from this. I hope she's able to then just go in and leave a very quiet, anonymous life with her family and her brother, however she's gonna reunite or whatever. Chad, the brother who we saw, who was like, my bed was taken away from me or whatever, he did a TikTok or whatever, snap, talking about like he was happy for her and whatnot. I didn't see the whole thing. So, I think that this was appropriate. I think that, a lot of people wanted to hear, literally it's burning up then, like so many people are reading this book. But yeah, I just remember where this is going on. We all speculated that, I have to literally stop myself from saying Lori, that Ruby and Jody were a thing. because she had Kevin not sleeping in the bed, and in the book she talks about like her catching her mom basically sneaking out of the bedroom, hair disheveled, and like going into a scene of like seeing candles lit, like a romantic type situation. Okay, wait, hold on. So agent says, how are you doing, agent? It's good seeing you. Kevin has since filed for divorce, and he is currently seeking custody of his 4 young children. January 2024. Hold on 1 second. Let me find you again. He filed a restraining order to block the sale of Jodi Hildebrandt's house. She was selling the house. Because if you followed this when it played out in real time, first of all, that whole thing, she was like, my 6 little chicks. That was her sentencing. It was the fakest thing, but she knows how to play to a crowd, right? Because that's basically what Sherry says their house was. It was just a stage, right? That's all that was. It was literally just a stage. Pardon me. And so I think that's what. So when Ruby got up there and did this whole award acceptance speech for sentencing, it was very fake. It wasn't whatever, but she was saying the things that technically the court's going to want to hear. Jodi just came in there looking, just looking around, I guess I'm sorry. It was so weird. So weird, right? And I'm just like, Jodi, well, I don't know. I think they're both just as evil in different ways with different motivations. Right? Ruby played it off like our family was wonderful until Jodi came over. And I'm just like, no, 100% not. Hey, Bug. Yeah, so for anybody that's asking, this is the Golden Girl set behind me. It's a green screen. I'm not actually on the set. Can you imagine if I got up and went and sat down on one of the chairs? You're all like, what? How are you there? So yeah. Yeah, I don't believe any of what Ruby said. She was, well, just like Sherry said it, she was like, I think that Ruby believes what she said. And that Ruby is interesting how she calls them Ruby and Kevin. And that Ruby is as sorry as she can be. And I think that's the best way to say it. Because that part where she asked her, like, did you ever see anything? This talking about her mom and Jodi. She's like, I don't know. That's like the buy my book and find out, I think. But also, like, she might not be wanting to completely put it out there on TV, but definitely a buy my book. But again, I mean, it's not that. It's, I mean, literally, you can't put it. I mean, I'm listening to an Audible, so when I say you can't put it down, like, you know what I'm saying? But you can't put it down. It's that and just insane. Denise says, keep reading. Okay. I think she knows more than what she's says. I think she knows more than what she's planning on about the relationship between the two. Yeah, I think definitely the little bit that the little bit that she is willing to divulge, it's probably that's like watered down, right? So yeah, Stephanie says let's hope Ruby gets more than 4 years. I'm so curious because they do it so weird in Utah, right? It's like you just go to prison and then they kind of tell you later what you're gonna get, or it's very weird. Yeah, and somebody brought up a good point too, talking about with Ruby, because when they were caught, when this whole thing went down, I mean, you saw the condition that poor little boy. If you haven't like followed this case, the neighbor in that 911 phone call, he starts crying. Right, he starts crying on the phone. It's like so disturbing to him, the condition of this child that had, I mean, any of us would, right? I mean, it's horrifying, the condition. So at this time, like, to me, like when you saw Jodi and Ruby towards the end there, they looked very just unwell. Okay. Like just unwell. So I'm sitting here like, ugh, gross. Like, ugh, I can't imagine those two together. It gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies. And the fact that they were like kicking Kevin out of the house. But remember, so this opens up so many other doors. Remember how so many women had the same story about Jody? She was finessing all the women. Remember how she was like basically like abusing the husbands of the situation and kicking them out, and then having the men's group that she led and like psychologically tormenting them? It's so weird. It's like now, like when you start to unlayer it, it's like I just can't. I cannot. It's like just like like that was such a motivation. Ugh. Also, now we're going to hear more people come out. Now that Sherry has spoken out, are we going to see more people come out talking about, yeah, Jody tried to creep up on me too? Ugh. Stephanie says, of course, there's something between, of course. I mean, literally. You can't make it up. And then, of course, like, Jody was, because remember how they were talking about Jody in the house and they were saying like her hygiene was horrifying. She smelled horrible. She wouldn't bathe. They literally made her out. When you see like possession movies and the person ends up like walking upside down, up and down the stairs and stuff. That's literally how they painted Jody out, right? I mean, I think she was saying that she was possessed and stuff, right? So it's like, ugh. I can't. Yeah, that's what they said, that she was just disgusting. That one couple said they had to kick her out. But then, okay, remember that one couple? Okay, see, this is oh my God, this is literally reopens this case. Remember that one couple talking about they had to kick her out because of all that, and that she was making like it's kind of coming on to the husband. What if she was really coming on to the woman, but they didn't want to say that because like this is like this, what I mean, like this is like the LDS where it's like we don't want to, we might be uncomfortable saying that or whatever. So maybe they were like talking about like it was a husband, but really Jody was creeping up on the wife. Because I think that was a huge part of like her motivation for this. Y'all are killing me. Jenny's all I can picture is dingleberries. Jody's armpit hair. I mean, oh my God. I'm gonna, ugh. Yes. Yeah, Carol says hold on, my eyes. Carol says she looked cleaner incarcerated. Yeah. I mean, literally whatever journey they were on, it was bad towards the end. Okay. I mean, again, you saw if you follow this, the state of these children, multiple people, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Multiple people, and I'm talking about 911 people, the guy who called 911, all that, like the first responders, they were crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that disturbing to see. So it's like, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So, right, and it's a $3 million house and zero hygiene. That's what was so bizarre. So they all had all this money, right? And it just goes to show you that it's like, yeah, miserable, horrifying, horrible people with privilege and access to so much, and that's what they chose to do with it. Because the punishments and see Jody, I'm sorry, well, both of them, but specifically Ruby, the stuff she's doing on camera that people clearly enjoyed watching it until it got too weird, right? It's like she was so proud of herself, so proud of herself in those videos and stuff she's making, and you're just like, and you can see, like, again, if you've watched them all, you can see the fear in the children. And like the children were stuck in this perpetual, pardon me, like it didn't matter what they did, they were going to always get punished because that's what it was about for Ruby. You know what I'm saying? Like that power trip, whatever you want to call it. And then especially once Jody was brought into it, I mean, the things that they were punishing them with, the hot syrup, the hot sauce and all this stuff. Why? What's the point, right? I love cheesecake too, Dominique. You know, Donna says, never let Ruby forget that we know everything about her now. She's punching air and Cell up at Block 8 right now. I can tell you that. She's punching air. I mean, she is done, right? And the way the daughter described, the way Sherry described the process of the discovery of YouTube and family vlogging and all this, and like oh, well, maybe we'll go back to normal at some point. And the realization of that's never going to happen. This is only going to get worse and worse and worse. And the way literally where she was like, every tiny little detail of your life was put on camera. I cannot imagine, right? And I was saying this in some of the little member videos that I did, talking about the book along the way. So sorry if I'm repeating myself, but like just doing like talking head videos like I do for my other channel, like, I look at how much time and energy goes into that. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, someone who has 6 children pumping out mega vlog stuff constantly, wrangling these children all the age, like how? There's no way. Yeah, Tori says, she said Ruby would get mad if she wasn't 1,000% enthusiastic on camera. Exactly. Yeah, Don says more followers. Yeah. It was just like more. An addiction at the price of everyone. Yeah, I hope they're all in therapy. And I hope it would be nice to see them be able to sue. I don't know what they could do, but because the way she controlled the money, that's the whole thing. It's like such a conflict of interest, right? Right, yeah, those kids too. Can you imagine if they did? Agent says, did somebody say cheesecake? Y'all are not going to believe this. Okay, you know how I did those things for like Dolly Parton made those cakes and stuff like that? The things or whatever. She does macaroni and cheese too. My friend Derek, y'all know Derek, he sent me a picture of it. I was like, it's good. It's good. Those things right there, the Dolly Parton pies and stuff like that. Do y'all remember? They still make these. The Patti LaBelle, sweet potato, the things. Is it Patti LaBelle? Matt, is it Patti LaBelle? The Patti LaBelle plays. Have y'all ever had those? Literally, we'll do you in. Dolly has pancake mix. So yeah, she's got it all, didn't you? The patty pies, y'all. Those did a number on me. I couldn't pass them. The Dolly stuff is the new patty pies for me at this point, right? I already did my binge on the patty pies years ago. At this point, I'm like, okay, they even still make them. They were so good, and that one guy like put them on the map. Yeah, the sweet potato. Oh my god, so good. Yeah, does Jody have all the money? Yeah, I just love Dolly Parton. I absolutely love her. Yeah, Patti LaBelle sweet potato pie. I can taste it right now. Ooey gooey cake. Oh, my mom used to make, and I don't know, it could be the same thing that you're talking about there, Emily. Pardon me. Ooey gooey cake. And it's like 20 years ago. I just know whatever it was literally ooey gooey. And so now whenever if I'm sick or if we're having a bad day or whatever like that, we'll literally be like, or if Matt calls me, I call him to be like, give me something ooey gooey. We just know what that means, right? It's like a comfort thing, right? Ooey gooey could be bread. Ooey gooey could be melted chocolate. there's all that, right? Yeah, rich and buttery. Right. Jenny said, "Don't trust anyone who dislikes Dolly Parton," right? Oh yeah, King says just like barely made cake. Oh my god, yes. I 100% will eat the cookie dough out of the thing. I don't want that new stuff they did where it's like sold as like, cookie dough that you're supposed to eat. It needs to be dangerous. We need to live on the edge. We need to eat it out of the tube. We need to risk a hospital visit for it to taste right. Cookie dough is amazing. Oh my god. Oh, melted brie and roasted garlic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to eat something sweet before I go to bed tonight, y'all. Oh my gosh. Your cake batter's good too. Risk it for the biscuit, right? Dangerous cookie dough. Oh, yeah, Trisha Yearwood has a good cooking show. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I can remember watching it. It is good. So, y'all, look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna run because now, honestly, I want to go get something to eat again. Hungry. Can y'all tell I'm hungry? So talking about the live chats here always end up going to food, but I mean, hey, it's a comfort thing, right? So 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're gonna do our members chat. I'll post. Actually, I'm gonna go post the links to it now. And so, pardon me. And so, we're going to mostly focus on the book there or whatever. So if a member here, the other channel, or Patreon, just look on whatever platform you go to and it'll be there. But I'm going to go post it now. So it'll be there in the morning. I'll see you all in the morning. Yeah, Andrea says, I love when Jody got arrested. That is literally classic. Literally, that one I could put on repeat. It's the surprise. She was surprised at it, number one. Oh, it's a Paula Deen sweet potato souffle. Oh, that's good. That is good. That just sounds good. So, y'all, first things first. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Indy. And thank you, Tori, for hanging out, for holding the sofa down, for keeping the cushions fluffed. I do appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and watching all this stuff and catching up with me. I do appreciate it. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the laughs. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for keeping it cool. And that's it. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I will see some of you in the morning at 9 o'clock. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday other than that. And that is it. And that's it. I love y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Good night. Good night. Sleep